From KFDX 3 News, your local election headquarters. KFDX 3 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Billiard.
And I'm Gwen Bevel. Before we get to tonight's election coverage, Wichita Falls police need your help finding two men they believe were involved in a drive-by shooting.
It happened about 1:45 in the 7-Eleven in the 1100 block of Central Freeway. WFPD officials say multiple shots were fired. A pickup truck parked outside the store was hit. There were 3 people inside the truck. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. The suspects were then seen driving underneath the freeway in a white sedan. Officers later found the gunman's car crashed in a yard in the 1600 block of Red Fox Road. Now, the driver is described as a black male wearing a white shirt. The passenger is a white male in a gray hoodie, possibly with blonde hair.
One woman has died from her injuries she suffered in a motorcycle accident in Wichita Falls last night. Police officers say 59-year-old Carol Husky was a passenger on the motorcycle that collided with a car and was taken to the hospital where she passed away. The driver of the motorcycle, 50-year-old Randy Doyle, and driver of the car, 18-year-old Kaylee Pennington, were treated for what are believed to be non-life-threatening injuries. It happened just before 7 last night at 9th and Broad. Police say Pennington was northbound on 9th when her car collided with the Honda Goldwing motorcycle. Police officers say neither Doyle nor Husky were wearing helmets at the time of this crash. This is the 5th motorcycle fatality of the year, according to our records.
Well, it took a jury longer to decide punishment for absentee defendant Joe Moon than it did guilt or innocence. After deliberating around 3.5 hours today, they recommended a 60-year sentence and a $10,000 fine for aggravated sexual assault of a child and 15 years and a $5,000 fine on each of 2 counts of sexual indecency with a child by contact. The arguments over punishment were postponed this morning for 2 hours so jurors could go vote, and they were told why Moon was not there. Moon missed both the verdict and punishment because he was arrested in Cotton County yesterday after authorities say he skipped court to play the slots in a casino. He was arrested while trying to leave the casino and booked into jail in Walters for bond forfeiture. The judge denied the defense motion to postpone jury deliberation and this morning denied a standing motion for a mistrial. When Moon was arrested yesterday, an investigator said Moon asked if a mistrial had been declared. The jury yesterday returned a guilty verdict on all 3 counts after about an hour and a half of deliberations.
These cases are so difficult, but they all come down to the testimony of the victims. And these girls, they clearly had to struggle with what happened to them, what this defendant did to them, and ultimately the jury believed beyond a reasonable doubt that they were credible, that their testimony was real, and it's their hard work that ultimately sealed the defendant's fate.
Moon faced a maximum of 99 years on the assault charge and 20 years each on the other charges. 30th District Judge Bob Brotherton will announce whether the sentences will be served consecutively or concurrently when he sentences Moon at a date to be determined.
Well, of course, it's election day at last, and all across the country, Americans are making their choice in the presidential race.
And tonight, we're continuing our team coverage from across Texoma. Kinsey Meekbeck is at Memorial Auditorium with a look at the mayor's race. Daryl Franklin is here to discuss some other contested local races, and Taylor Newcomb is at MSU tonight with Political Science Chair Dr. Steve Garrison, who will provide plenty of perspective from a student watch party there.
And we are going to start tonight with Samaria Terry, who's over at Region 9 in Wichita County. And as last-minute voters get into those polls to cast their ballots, Samaria, how's the turnout looking out there?
Yeah, Doug and Gwen, we've seen quite a few people, especially in the last hour that we've been out here. They have come out to vote. Now, we talked to Judge Woody Gossam a little bit earlier today, and he said that so far only 5,000 people have come in to cast their vote. Now, that was like 3:30 this afternoon, and he said those numbers are far less than the early voting numbers, and he said that either the election day numbers will be a lot lower than the early voting numbers, or that a lot of people are going to be coming out here in the next 45 minutes or so to cast their vote. Now, he also said that everything has been running smoothly here at Region 9, but there were some little issues at TxDOT earlier this morning. Now, apparently the judge at the polling location had people separating for their party classification. Now, Woody said that that was something that was rectified very quickly and that no one was turned away at that particular incident this morning. Now, Gossam says that if anyone has any issues voting, to please let the county know. Now also make sure you have an acceptable form of identification when you show up to that poll place. That ID can be a driver's license, state ID, military ID, election identification card, or passport. For a full list of acceptable IDs, just head over to your local election headquarters at TexAsomashomepage.com. While you're there, you can check out where your precinct is and where to vote.
Samaria, thank you.
And after results are all in tonight, the city of Wichita Falls will begin the process of swearing in a brand new mayor.
And 2 city councilors are in this race. District 4 Councilor Tim Engel spent 22 years in the Air Force, part of that time at Shepherd, and for the last 8 years he's been a simulator instructor. Stephen Santillana, who represents District 1, has spent the last 20 years working with his family construction business and also has his own company.
And now Kenzie Meekbeck joins us live from Memorial Auditorium with the current Wichita Falls Mayor Glenn Barham. Kenzie.
Thank you, Doug and Gwen. And Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. This is it. You'll be handing over the gavel here soon. So does it seem like that long ago when you first took the oath?
You know, 6.5 years has gone by extremely fast. It has been that long, but it's over now. Well, it will be in 2 weeks. We'll canvass a vote on the 22nd and swear in the new mayor the same day.
Now, you have gone through a lot of tough stuff as the mayor. There's been flooding, drought. What was one of your biggest challenges, and how do you feel the city handled that?
Well, obviously the biggest challenge was the drought. And, you know, we did things that were groundbreaking that a lot of different cities across the United States as well as worldwide have come to us to see how we handled the drought. So the things that we've done then and things that we're putting in place now put us on the map as far as how to handle a drought situation.
Right, and you have come out as endorsing Stephen Santillana, District 1 councilor, but whoever's voted in tonight or tomorrow will, what advice do you have for them?
Just listen to staff and work with staff. We've got the best staff. I'll put them up against any staff in the state of Texas. Our city staff is just phenomenal. Work with them, listen to them. If you've got something to say, don't be afraid to say it, but do work with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks so much, Kenzie.
Well, should Santillana win today's mayoral race, his place 1 council seat becomes vacant, and the council would appoint someone to fill out the remainder of that term until the next council election next November.
His opponent, Tim Engel, has reached the term limit for his District 4 seat, and Jesse Brown is running unopposed to fill that seat.
Well, Daryl Franklin joins us now from the newsroom with a look at some contested Wichita County and WFISD races.
And Daryl, what to do with the Wichita County Jail is really something county commissioners may be facing.
Yeah, that's right. Should we continue to repair the old facilities or build a new one? Running for Precinct 1 is Democrat Larry Donahue and Republican Mark Beecham. Donahue is an Army veteran and retired truck driver who's lived in KMA since 1983. Beecham has served as the Wichita Falls traffic superintendent for 34 years now. Both candidates say while good progress has been made on the current jail, the need for a new facility has been around, they say, for decades. For Precinct 3, it's current Commissioner Barry Mahler versus former Commissioner Gordon Griffith. Now, Mahler won the Precinct 3 seat from Griffith in 2008, who'd held that seat for 28 years, and Griffith has been trying to win back that position ever since. Mahler has seen firsthand how much work has gone into getting the current jail facilities compliant for the Texas Jail Commission, but he says a lot more work needs to be done. Griffith has been unavailable to us for comment so far. Now, there were 2 open seats on the WFISD school board with 2 incumbents facing challengers. One of those is current board president and oil and gas investor Dale Harvey. He's facing commercial insurance agent Shane Smith, also attorney Dustin Nims. In the place 5 race on the WFISD board of trustees, there's Tom Bursey, who's already on the board right now, against retiree Herbert Winery. Bursey was appointed to the position after former board president and place 5 trustee Trey Schraller resigned. Now, we're following these and other races very closely throughout the area. Polls close now in probably about 50 minutes.
All right, Daryl, thank you. Sure. Well, folks in Young and Montague counties have already said no to 2 ballot issues they will once again be voting on this time around.
Yeah, in 2012, Graham voters rejected the sale of beer and wine in convenience and grocery stores. Then in 2014, voters once again said no. Now, some believe if alcohol is more available, that would lead to more use or misuse and more abuse. The organization Graham Wed, on the other hand, believes people should be able to go to the local store and keep their local tax money in Graham. Right now, bars and restaurants with memberships are able to serve alcohol to patrons in Graham.
In Nakona, voters are once again casting ballots on a school bond. A bond failed back in May by a margin of 56 to 43%. This election cycle, the $16.8 million bond would fund a new 81,000 square foot school with larger science labs, rooms for fine arts programs, and additional classrooms. Taxpayers can expect to see a maximum of a 43-cent tax increase if this bond goes through.
Well, you know, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton cast their ballots today in New York.
Wonder who they voted for.
You
Well,
wonder.
coming up after Kevin's forecast, we'll show you how you can stay informed with the latest poll results right here from your local election headquarters.